40 authors, 66 books, 1,189 chapters, all under one cover with one primary central theme. Over 5.5 billion copies sold, available in over 720 different languages. The Bible is the #1 best-selling, most famous book to ever exist. Some people call its central theme the good news, which is interesting. Why would we affiliate a murder of an innocent man with good news? And how did this man redefine time? Globally, the measurement of time is based on the birth of Jesus Christ. His birth is also the origin story of Christmas, the most recognized and celebrated holiday in the entire world. This man, Jesus, is by far the most influential, historically significant person of human history, even 2,000 years after his death. I remember going to Sunday school as a kid. If I'm being honest, I don't think I liked it at all. I just wanted to be with my mom. Eventually, to put a stop to my whining, she let me go with her to the main church service. By the time I became a teenager, I think I held the belief that the stories in the Bible about Jesus were just a bunch of stories. Fiction, make-believe stories, that is. Sure, the character of Jesus lived a good life and taught good morals that we can learn from, but some of the stories about him were crazy and harder to learn from for me. For example, he could calm storms, turn water into wine, and fully heal any sick, diseased, or disabled person that he wanted to. It seemed foolish to believe that those kind of things actually occurred. Jesus was just a man, right? My thoughts on Jesus, the Bible, and the world were all led by my best logic, reason, and acquired evidence at the time. That all pretty much remained the same as I became a young adult. Although, my conclusions and beliefs have completely changed. The start of that change began by investigating the very core of the Christian faith, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Very quickly, I came to grips with the fact that Jesus was most definitely a real person who most definitely died by crucifixion on a cross. I found that over 90% of scholars who studied Jesus, people of different religions, agnostics, and even the most well-educated, outspoken atheists all agreed that Jesus was a real historical person, that there is sufficient evidence, early sources, and eyewitness testimonies sufficient to conclude that Jesus did indeed die by crucifixion on a cross. Before scholars reached their disagreements, there were two major agreements that most of them all share. The first is that the tomb Jesus was buried in 3 days later was found empty. The second thing agreed upon to be a historical fact is jam-packed. It's that disciples of Jesus, enemies of Jesus, and a mass crowd of 500 people all truly believed that they witnessed the resurrected body of Jesus. I thought to myself, really? Even enemies of Jesus? I continued to research, Sure enough, it was true. Saul, a leader of Jews with immense power, a man who hunted down and killed Christians, had an encounter with a resurrected Jesus that completely changed him. He gave up all his power to devote his life to preaching on the death and resurrection of Jesus. James, Jesus' half-brother, did not follow Jesus. He actually called him crazy and wanted nothing to do with him. He too radically changed after claiming to see Jesus risen from the dead, becoming a leader of the Christian church as it emerged. I was shocked at these realities. Nobody had a thing to gain by saying Jesus rose from the dead. They had everything to lose. Yet, they all went on to live boldly, passionately, and fearlessly for what they believed to be true. All dying gruesome deaths, refusing to recant their testimony. What do you do with all this information? Many of the scholars say that they simply do not know, that it's a mystery too complex to understand. A small percentage of these scholars attempted to come up with different natural conclusions, but none of the conclusions were consistent with the agreed upon historical facts. And for the rest of the scholars, well, they say that something supernatural must have happened, that Jesus Christ must have risen from the dead. As I continued researching the historical person of Jesus, the validity and reliability of the Bible, and much more, I was astounded at the amount of solid evidence out there in favor of the Christian faith. I realized that the most historically significant, influential person to ever live had also claimed to be the one and only true God. Not only did he claim to be God, but he backed up his claims with an abundance of evidence that was extremely difficult to neglect. As I continue to seek truth today, a new element has been introduced alongside my best logic, reason, and acquired evidence. Faith. I started praying things like, Jesus, if you are who you say you are, I want to know you. If you really rose from the dead and claim to be coming back soon, help me understand why. If you promise peace, joy, freedom, fulfillment, and everlasting life, teach me how to receive it. I truly humbled myself, put aside my preferences and predisposed beliefs. I was seeking God with an open mind. The things I experienced during this time, the prayers that were answered, and the truth that unfolded only grew and strengthened the confidence in Jesus. By the time I confessed him as Lord, repented of my sins, and verbalized my faith in his death and resurrection, something supernatural happened, and I've never been the same. If I only had one thing to say about it, I would say that it's the best decision I have ever made. So meet me in your love. What started as an honest quest for truth, would you meet me in your love, Jesus, resulted in an unshakable faith. Would you meet me in your love, Jesus? A firm foundation to build my life upon.
Meet me in your love, Jesus, and I will build my